Hello everyone, my name is Luke and I'm an AWS Cloud Engineer at CloudNation, and today I'll be starting off this series by answering the question, how do I get a secure connection from my laptop to private resources in AWS, for example to debug some application or database issues. The use case that I will discuss throughout the video will be connecting a MySQL client on my laptop to a private RDS database. And first I will start off with a more traditional way of doing it, and then move to more cloud-native connectivity options and discuss their benefits. At the end I will give a short demo and show you how to set it up. So starting off with the traditional approach, we can use a so-called bastion host, sometimes called a jump host or a stepping stone, to connect to private resources in AWS. DevOps teams can connect to this bastion host with their own SSH key and set up an SSH tunnel to connect to these private resources from there. While this is a completely valid setup, it does have some drawbacks. For starters, a large part of the security is based on this IP whitelisting of the bastion host. So when teams start working from home, and we've seen this with various customers, is that after a couple of months, the security group contains a history of all IP addresses from people's homes and public working places and whatnot. And all of this gradually increases the risk of a data breach. Also, as the team or company grows, there are simply more SSH keys to manage and even more AWS accounts to manage maybe. And this all also increases the risk of a data breach. To deal with some of these issues, we can make use of certain AWS services. Instead of managing SSH keys for each team member, we can give them access to EC2 Instance Connect to generate a temporary SSH key, which is available for 60 seconds to log into the instance. This action is protected by AWS Identity and Access Management, and therefore natively integrates with multi-factor authentication as well. Secondly, instead of exposing SSH port to the internet, we can use AWS Systems Manager, which is able to set up an SSH session even without any inbound internet access to this instance. So both services are integrated with other AWS services like Amazon EventBridge. So you can, for example, send an alert to an administrator when somebody logs into your instance. In order to make use of Systems Manager and EC2 Instance Connect, we need a couple of things. On the AWS side, you need an EC2 instance with the Systems Manager agent installed, the EC2 Instance Connect package installed, and you need to have permissions to access Session Manager and EC2 Instance Connect. On the client side of things, you will need to install the Systems Manager plugin for SSH. To show you how this all works, I've set up an EC2 instance in a private subnet without any inbound internet access, as you can see here. And it has permissions to access the Systems Manager APIs and EC2 Instance Connect APIs by providing it an instance role. The CloudFormation template used to create this setup is provided on the CloudNation GitHub if you're interested. To connect to a database, I've also set up this database, which is also not internet accessible, as you can see here. Now, to set up the client side of things, I will use AWS Gate. And AWS Gate is an open source tool to simplify the setup and management of SSH sessions using Systems Manager and EC2 Instance Connect. So you can very simply install it using pip install AWS Gate. To install the Systems Manager plugin, you simply run AWS Gate Bootstrap. And now to list all your available instances that are running in your account, which are integrated with Systems Manager, you can run AWS Gate list, then specify in which account you want to list your instances and in which region. In my case, that's the CloudNation R&D account. To be able to connect, set up a SSH tunnel to one of these instances, we'll need to modify the SSH config file as well. And AWS Gate also offers support for this by running AWS Gate SSH config, specify which profile I want to use and which region again, and then output the contents of that command to the SSH config file. So now everything is set up, and I can create an SSH session by running SSH, then provide it with the instance ID, .region.profile. That's the way AWS Gate does it natively. And we can set up a tunnel from there by using the L flag, specifying the source of the tunnel here, and then the destination of the tunnel, which is the database that I just showed you. Now, having set up this tunnel, if you're not familiar with SSH tunnels, by the way, I recommend doing some Googling about this. Many articles exist out there which help you with this, and it's a really powerful way of connecting to basically any resource from your Bastion host. Okay, well, now this tunnel is up. I can connect to my database but with a MySQL client on my laptop by specifying the source of the tunnel as the host name. So that's this. And after I provide the database credentials, you can see I'm now connected to my database. If you want to connect to a different database, you can simply change the destination of the tunnel to connect to this other database. Also, note that while doing this, I've received a notification in my email inbox from my SNS topic that somebody logged into my instance. So, summarizing. We can use Systems Manager and EC2 Instance Connect to access private resources without having to manage SSH keys. Also, not a single resource in this demo had inbound internet access, and all actions were protected by using AWS Identity and Access Management. It offers out-of-the-box auditability with CloudTrail, and it integrates with other AWS services for some cool automation possibilities. Thank you for watching. Feel free to leave some feedback in the comments, and see you next time.